yell and they all leave. I don't understand. Was it something you said? They all leave.
Good evening. Welcome to the Lawrence City Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, November 1st, 2022, 7 p.m. Pursuant to Chapter 20, the Acts of 2022, this meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person and in the City Council chambers and remotely. This can be accessed through our Zoom link and also through our digital platforms such as our Lawrence City Council Facebook page and our Lawrence City Council YouTube page. At this time, I'll ask the City Clerk to please call the roll.
Councilor Infante.
Present.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Present.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Present.
Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez. Absent. Councilor Ana Levy. Present. Councilor Dela Cruz.
Present.
Councilor Payano. Absent. Council Vice President Estela Reyes.
Present.
And Council President LaPlante.
President, will you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? At first, the moment of silence on the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Now, please join the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, councilors, and welcome back. Happy New Year, everyone. At this point, we're going to start off with the council minutes for the approval of September 20th. Is there a motion to approve those minutes? Second. By Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. At this point, we have public participation. The rules are the same as every week. You have 2.5 minutes. After the first 2 minutes, Teresa will ring the bell to give you to know you get 30 seconds left. Please address the chair and not any individual city councilors. The first person is Mr. Mali.
Humayun Mali, 53 Chester Street. Good evening, honorable members. In this important election year, we demand of you and Honorable Mayor Brian DePena contract for Lawrence Police now. Lawrence Police, with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Chief Roy Bass, has done excellent job to protect our citizens. This union of pride and honor deserve the best contract. We, the citizens, are united in support of Lawrence Police Senior Officers Union and demand contract. Thank you for your hard work and for your sacrifices. Every Laurentian are happy with the news of building the new police station. Lawrence is a beautiful city because of our hard-working DPW workers. We support DPW leadership and the union. Lawrence Public School, with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Superintendent Cynthia Paris, one of the best superintendents in the history of Lawrence, moving forward. We are grateful to Honorable Superintendent Paris and LAE members for working hard to grant contract for our teachers and our paraprofessional workers. We must continue support Lawrence Public School Teachers Union, the Lawrence Public School paraprofessional, cafeteria workers and nurses. Lawrence, one city under God, the best example of the respect for union rights, police officer union, firefighters and teachers union. Remember your campaign promise, save Lawrence, prosper Lawrence, only possible if you support Lawrence Police Union and best contract for the police officers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next speaker is Dick Russell. Clerk, will you please call the attendance for Councilor Rodriguez?
Councilor Giovanni Rodriguez.
Good evening, councilors. My name is Dick Russell. I reside at 34 Cross Street. I hope all had an enjoyable Halloween. I noticed that our trick-or-treat started early at City Hall. Started on October 18th when a representative from the mayor's office requested that Alfonso Garcia's name be removed for consideration for the appointment as Director of Inspectional Services. Imagine to my surprise when I noticed this notice outside the city clerk's office regarding Wednesday night's licensing board meeting. There is no mention, and I apologize for the color, my printer is going crazy. There is no mention of any of the licensing board members. The only name mentioned is Alfonso Garcia, whose name was withdrawn from that consideration of that position 2 weeks ago. There are no descriptive adjectives preceding his name, such as acting, temporary, or temporarily acting as Inspectional Service Director. Several questions pop into my mind. How did he fall into that position that his name was withdrawn from? How does this action pass the sniff test for the state and the requirements of Mass General Law 143? How long will he be allowed to stay in that position? Is he receiving a stipend in addition to that $79,540 salary? And finally, will his salary help inflate his pension from the school department? Getting back to the trick-or-treat theme of my comments, those actions appear to me to be the trick, obviously, and the treat to some in City Hall is they think they put one over on the citizens. Also, does the fact that there are no board members mentioned on the licensing board notice make the notice of the licensing board meeting tomorrow, does that make that legal? Just remember, Mr. Garcia is not the licensing board authority. The citizens that the mayor appointed to that commission are the ones that have the final authority. With that, I thank you for the time.
Thank you very much.
To you, Council President. There is a situation going on the parking lot.
Are there not, is that not a city councilor car? Do you have that? Do you have that license plate number? Yeah. So there's a car actually blocking a vehicle at the mayor's spot.
It's mine.
Who is it?
It's mine.
Can you please move that vehicle? Thank you.
But,
The next speaker is Ken, is it File? Thank you.
is he leaving?
Yes.
City Council, I'm actually here in support of public hearing 342. Should I save my comments for 342?
Yes, you should.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks so much. The next individual is Maria Lopez. Very good. And the last speaker is Jeffrey Petrillo.
If it's in order, I can have a conversation with the constituent. I know what this is about.
Counselor, thank you for offering that. We do appreciate that. At this point, we're going to start off with our public hearings. The first public hearing this evening is document number 34122, National Grid, Cypress Ave. Madam Clerk, will you please read the public hearing notice?
Notice is hereby given, this is document number 341-22. Notice is hereby given that the Lawrence City Council will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, November 1, 2022 at 7 p.m. A public meeting of the Lawrence City Council in the City Council Chambers at 200 Common Street, Lawrence, Mass. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021 and in accordance with the recent revised City Council Rule Number 2, this meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person and in the City Council Chamber, and remotely to allow accommodation of all potential participants with health considerations that prevent them from participating in person. To receive access codes for remote participation, please contact the city clerk at eileen.bernal@cityoflawrence.com or at 978-620-3230. The meeting may be viewed on Facebook and YouTube. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning an order for joint or identical pole locations from the Massachusetts Electric Company doing business as National Grid and Verizon New England, Inc., formerly known as New England Telephone and Telegraph Company, to be granted joint or identical locations for permission to erect and maintain poles and wires to be placed thereon, together with such sustaining and protective fixtures as the companies may deem necessary in the public way or ways herein referred, as requested in the petition of said companies dated on the 10th day of August 2022. Said construction shall be performed in accordance with the conditions outlined in said petition 305-54880. The petition provides that there may be attached to said poles by Massachusetts Electric Company, DBA National Grid, Verizon New England, such wires, cables, and fixtures as needed in their business, and all said wires, cables shall be placed at a height of no less than 20 feet from the ground. The following are the public ways that, or parts of ways along which the poles referred to may be erected and the number of poles which may be erected thereupon. Cypress Ave, National Grid to install one JO pole, 6084 on Cypress Ave, beginning at a point approximately 14 feet southwest to the center line of the intersection of Cypress Ave and Byron Ave, and continuing approximately 120 feet in a northwesterly direction in a public right-of-way to provide new service to 265 Cypress Ave due to solar upgrade at that residence. Also for permission to lay and maintain the underground lateral cables and wires in the above intersecting ways for the purpose of making connections with such poles and buildings as each of said petitioners may desire for distribution purposes. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
The public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Before I get that, would you please call the attendance for Councilor Piano? Madam Clerk? Thank you. Seeing that there's no other public members that are looking for the public hearing, is there a motion before the council?
Motion to approve?
Motion made by the Vice President, seconded by Councilor Piano. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The next document is document number 34222, National Grid. Before we do that, I'm looking for a motion to suspend the reading of the preamble of each of these public hearing notices. Motion made by Mr. Piano, seconded by Councilor Infante. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Madam Clerk? That's the meat right there, right?
The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning Massachusetts Electric Company, DBA National Grid of North Andover, Massachusetts, desiring to construct a line of underground electrical conduit together with such sustaining and protective fixtures as the companies may deem necessary for the transmission of electricity. Said underground conduit to be located substantially in accordance with the plan filed with the city clerk, the city of Lawrence, dated 8/26/22, marked Essex Street, Lawrence, Massachusetts. The following are the streets and highways referred to in 305-43714 Essex Street, beginning at a point approximately 23 feet north of the center line of the intersection of Appleton Street and Essex Street, and continuing approximately 85 feet in a southeasterly direction. National Grid will be installing a new handhole, number 194-1, in front of 234 Essex Street to facilitate and upgrade the service of a dental office on that site. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this matter?
Yes, thank you, City Council members. My name is Kenneth File, owner of LYF Architects at One Elm Square in Andover, Massachusetts, and we're the architects for the renovation of 234 Essex Street for Dental Arts. And I want to express our support on behalf of my client for this petition, as it's a critical path item for our project to have National Grid complete this project and provide the additional power that our project requires. Again, we support the approval of this petition. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Do you wish to speak on this item?
No, am I going to get to speak?
Councilor Infante will speak with you shortly about that. Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors?
Motion to approve?
Motion made by the Council Vice President, seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The next document is document number 34322, removal of throwaway prohibition. Clerk, would you please read the public hearing notice?
Am I skipping the preamble? Oh, all of them, awesome. The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence, to be further amended by deleting ordinance number 10.28.160 of the municipal code, said section having read 1.28-160, dead-end streets, no outlets/ways, no throughway, upon the following ways, streets, or parts of streets, throughways shall be prohibited. Devonshire Street from Adam Street to Hale Street. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
The public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? I believe there are a couple of members. I believe there are a couple of members who wanted to speak during public participation. This is the time to speak on this matter.
Hi,
Good evening. Your name and address, please, for the record.
Maria Lopez, 25 Hale Street, South Lawrence. The situation that bring me tonight is the ordinance that made the Devonshire as a dead end, and I live at the end of 25 Hale Street, Hale Street with Devonshire. Closing that street or making that in is causing a serious safety issues for firefighter, ambulance, police, and myself, especially during the time of winter, because there is no way that the snow can be removed. It's just push. Sometimes they just block my driveway. So it's very difficult for me to get out. It's difficult for the trash trunk because they have to go in reverse and turn around to go back to pick up the other side. It's a lot of issues, and there is no need. It has been a safe area where no concern about any illegal situation or parking. Everybody that lives in the area is a homeowner. So I'm just here to advocate for the cancellation of the ordinance that made the Devonshire and Hale Street at their end.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Are there any other members of the public who wish to speak on this item? The public hearing is now closed. Counselors, what's your pleasure, Counselor?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion made by the Vice President, seconded by Counselor Infante. Discussion? Counselor Infante?
Thank you, Council President. I just want to give a quick background on this and say I did have a discussion with the original stakeholder constituents of this ordinance today. The constituent and I had a great conversation on how this came about. We explained to him the effort that was made with the mayor's office, the city attorney, the fire department, the police department, also DPW. Both sides were understood, and as of right now, we do have an emergency order in effect through the mayor's office on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other counselors who wish to speak on this matter? Seeing
I'll say something.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Well, I was part of the vote to actually allow this this prohibition to go along, and having an opportunity to actually remove something that I believe it was a mistake. I'm very happy to do so. I actually went over and look at the situation. This dead end is being created by an structure that is not safe, that the city could be liable for. And if somebody hit that Jersey barrier without proper notice or without actually doing it the right way, I mean, I think the city could be liable, and I'm more than happy to amend the situation that happened back then when I took this vote. So I hold myself responsible for creating this situation, this issue, and I'll vote against keeping it, so in favor of removing the prohibition of that street.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Thank you, Council President. I mean, I met Maria a few years ago dealing with this, and it's a shame that I have to take tons of years, once again, tons of years for a decision that some of the councilors made without even go and see the place before they place the Charlie barriers. And Maria has been in this fight for so long. And I'm glad that I wasn't part of that vote, but I'm glad I'm gonna be part of this vote to make things right. Thank you.
Councilor Payano?
All right. Thank you, Council President. No, I want to thank the constituent for calling me and letting me be aware of this issue, for the work that they have done, and for all the other councilors that have spoken on this. I think that one of the great things about democracies and about democracies like ours is that it's ever changing. So we see something, we do something, and that doesn't mean that things have to stay the way that they are. It's important that all of us are out there talking to people, because something that we think is good today might be wrong tomorrow. In particular, I want to thank the Bryan administration, the Pena administration, for jumping in and getting those, the fire department, the police department, to look at the issue. I think it was clear from anybody that went to see it that this was a safety issue. And while this process, and I thank my co-sponsor for us getting into this to actually changing the ordinance, but changing an ordinance takes a very long time. And the Pena administration came in and gave an emergency order while we were working through this bureaucratic hurdle. So I would ask all of my colleagues to vote in favor of this so we can rectify a really important emergency issue that's happening in that neighborhood.
Thank you. Are there any other city councilors who wish to speak on this matter? Seeing none? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. At this point, we're going to move over to what's on our agenda as a resolution. It's actually, if it was properly, it would have been under communications, so a little snafu there. So there was a communication, 36722 citations. I am going to ask for Councilor Levy to give her communication. Councilor Levy?
Good evening, councilors. Ana Levy, 167 Prope Street, Lawrence, Mass. So the reason why I'm here tonight is because a couple of weeks ago, we went to, we have an invitation for a group of youth people that's receiving a training. And they ended up, that was a summer camp, they had a lot of training. And during that time, they just learned so many things. And I was so surprised, with all of them. And that's why we invited them to come in front of us. The director of the program is Ms. Aida Castro, who is also the person who represents the family services. But I would like to call Jonathan Torres, who is the Youth Development Program Director, who is going to let you know a little bit more about what the program consisted during that time.
Good evening, City Council. I'm Jonathan Torres, the Director of the Youth Development Program. As Ana Levy just mentioned, we completed a summer camp at Family Services, and a little bit about the program is that the program consisted on a different lesson Monday through Thursday and a field trip on Fridays. Week 1 consisted on the life skills lesson curriculum program Arise, and the lesson consisted on topics discussion that will help the youth learn how to handle every life events and challenges. During week 2, the discussion shifted gears to the Massachusetts Personal Responsibility Education Program, called PREP. In this lesson, you receive sexual health and adulthood preparation education and the Cambridge Out full capacity quickly after enrollment opened, with 30 youths participating. Our program helped our youth deal with the events and challenges of everyday life. After participating in the summer camp, our youth acquired a new sense of well-being. They were engaged in learning and motivated to make positive changes in their life. They now understand what society expects of them. The life skills lesson from Arise and Making Proud Choices helped guide our participants along the right path and gave them the tools they need to drive in the world. This program was funded by the Lawrence Police Department, the Department of Public Health, and the Essex County Community Foundation. We at Family Services of the Merrimack Valley appreciate the chance to honor and assist the young people in our neighborhood. With further financing like this, we can offer our members new experiences that they may occasionally be unable to do to personal reasons. So I thank you.
Thank you. Don't move, stay there. As you can see, we had about 30 participants in this program, and the parents, also were so excited with everything that the children did it during that time, and they were like a part also of the summer program, as far as I know, and they also went with their children to some of the places that they went, like a Canopy. They went to Canopy Lake. They went to so many places that they learned a lot during the time that they did this program during the summer. So there was about 24 hours for each of the group that they used to learn about. Not all these youth are over here today, but we have a couple of them. I'm gonna call because it was no time to make sure who was here or no, but I'm gonna call all of them, and Jonathan, you're gonna take all of the other ones to come in. So I want you to stand on when I coordinate. So every one of these say the same thing, the City Council citation. This is for Mia Marte, where Mia Marte participated and completed the 2022 Youth Development Summer Camp, and whereas the Youth Development Summer Camp was a 2-week development camp sponsored by Family Service of the Merrimack Valley that was designated to improve campers' intrapersonal skills and increase reproductive health awareness, and whereas Mia Marte is now more informed and knowledgeable about anger management, domestic and sexual abuse, dropout prevention, gun prevention, substance abuse, and violence and conflict. And therefore, let it be known to all that the Lawrence City Council acknowledges and recognizes Mia Marte for successfully completing the Youth Development Summer Camp and send the best wishes for continued success. Respectfully submitted for all of the members of the City Council: Ana Levy, Councilor at Large; Maria de la Cruz, Councilor District A; Gregory del Rosario, Councilor District C; Stephanie Infante, District E; Pavel Payano, Councilor at Large; Estela Reyes, Vice President, Councilor District B; Giovanni Rodriguez, Councilor District D; Selena Reyes, Councilor at Large, and also this is a true copy by Eileen Bernard, who is our city clerk. I'm gonna continue calling, it's, all of them say the same. So, Molisua Guadalupe. Frandy Lora. Kairen Torres. Juan Carlos Durán. Sanmi Cruz. Jonathan Cruz. Manuel Salazar. Is here? I remember you. Do you want to say something? No? Okay. Jaslene Medina. Is it here? Congratulations. You want to say something? Arlene Burgos. Maya Barreto. Marcom Velard. Ernesto Velar. Yandel Alvarado. Yadiel Gerolini. Hi, congratulations.
Thank you.
You want to say something? You want to say something to them? No? William De Leon. Jairín Ledesma. Iliana Santiago. Sanay de los Santos. I wanted them to come and stay there. Nicelis de los Santos. Derek Rivera. Azalia Rodríguez. Cody Sweet. Nice name. Luis de Jesús. Wildania de León. Ariana de Jesús. Okay. I would like you all to come over here, please. Okay, and let's go around and say hi to each one of the members of the City Council. Go ahead, come on.
There's a motion for a 5-minute recess made and seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. We have a quick 5-minute recess. Councilors, I'm looking for a motion to come out of recess.
So move.
Motion made by Councilor Reyes. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. We're back. Do we? We're gonna skip. We're just gonna do one quick bit of housekeeping. The last document is document 38522, handicap parking at 23 North Boylston Street. It is a late file. I'm asking for a motion to accept 38522 as a late file.
Motion to accept 385-22 as a late file.
Motion made by the
Second.
Councilor Piano, seconded by Councilor Levy. Discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. We have 7.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Counselor Maria Dela Cruz. Yes. Counselor Payano.
Yes.
Counselor Giovanni Rodriguez. Yes. Counselor Gregory Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes. Yes. Counselor Stephanie Infante. Noted. Counselor Estela Reyes, also absent, and Counselor President LaPlante.
Yes.
I believe so, yeah. I'm missing 2, so you got 7, yeah.
Here we have 7, so we're including that as a late file. We'll deal with that later on this evening. At this point, we're going to go back to public hearings. The next public hearing is document 34522, the amendment of non-union classification plan. Clerk, will you please read the public hearing notice?
The purpose of said hearing is to gather testimony, information, and public input concerning the proposed amendment to the revised ordinances of the City of Lawrence, to be further amended by adding the following subparagraph: 02.160.040 of the Municipal Code, amendment of classification plan. Grades of positions shall be added and/or deleted from the position classification plan upon the recommendation of the Personnel Director and the appropriate committee of the City Council every 3 years and/or as needed, with final approval to be issued by the City Council. Any salary range listed in the classification compensation chart shall take precedence over any salary listed elsewhere in these ordinances. To the extent that there are any ordinances to the contrary, they are hereby repealed in that aspect only. Persons wishing to be heard shall be afforded the opportunity.
Thank you. The public hearing is now open. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Councilors? Looking for a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion made by Councilor Levy, seconded by Councilor Infante. Discussion? I see Councilor first. Councilor Dela Cruz?
That means that any new employees that comes in will go through this salary?
The answer, I believe, is affirmative, that this will be our new ordinance range. So any new employee or current employee working for the city, their job titles will fit within the range for the jobs that you see in that spreadsheet.
Then let's say that we have somebody that is brand new. We have to work between that range, or we're going to start with a minimum salary at that point?
That's more of a question for the administration, but I can very generally answer that it's going to be within the range.
Yeah, I can generally, excuse me, answer that. It's new employees are limited per the ordinances to, I think it's, I don't know it exactly off the top of my head, but there's a certain quadrant that they can be paid at when they start, within 6 months. And it's usually, I think, maximum of 50% of the first quartile, I think is what the ordinance says. So there's some restrictions in the ordinance about new employees and how they can be paid. Existing employees, there will be a range of, these are the new ranges that are replacing the current ranges, which are from 2005. So the ranges are up to date for now. Doesn't mean everybody's going to make the top of the range or the minimum of the range. A lot of them will be somewhere in the middle.
What about returning workers?
Which workers are that?
Any worker that left the job and will come back to us?
Well, I guess we'd follow the ordinances. I'm not sure if they have to start back at the first quartile or not, if somebody left and then came back. But this is, by the way, just a point of clarification. This is only for non-union employees. All the employees that are part of a collective bargaining agreement, the collective bargaining agreement rules what they get paid. This is just for non-union personnel.
Counselor Levy, then Counselor Infante.
The first thing that would take place is all the department heads would make a recommendation for their employees, where should they be in the compensation plan. That would have to be reviewed with the mayor, and then we have to review to see, more than likely, we have to come back down to the council for an additional appropriation if there isn't an available, if there aren't available funds in everybody's existing budget, which more than likely there will not be. So we would do, it's a multi-step process. The first thing to get done was take out the 2005 compensation plan and get a new compensation plan so we can attract employees. We have many employees that it's very difficult to attract per the ordinances. We should have been down here doing this many years ago.
Is it going to be like a retroactive, or is going to have like some day to start for everybody after all the process?
I guess we'd have to discuss that. I haven't had that discussion with the mayor, but I imagine it would be, like I just said, if it gets approved, we'd ask all the department heads to make some recommendations for their non-union employees, make those recommendations to the mayor. The mayor would have to review those with the department heads and all of the positions, and I imagine they would suggest the pay or recommend a pay somewhere in the range, and the mayor would have to approve that, and then we'd have to see what remains in everybody's budget. More than likely, we'd have to come back down to the city council for an additional appropriation to pay those increased salaries. So that's my expectation. This will take several weeks to implement.
Thank you.
Counselor Infante.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. President, I apologize if this has already been said. I'm just catching up here. These are the recommendations done by the Collins Center?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other counselors who wish to speak on this matter? Counselor Rodriguez?
Through you, Council President. I have a quick question to the CAFO.
Yep.
What would be the economic impact on the budget that this will anticipate, assuming that all of the recommendations for current employees come this budget season, perhaps?
Well, we don't know that yet. Like I said, the first is to get the compensation plan approved. Then the department we'll ask the department heads to make recommendations to the mayor to adjust the non-bargaining salaries in their department, and then we'd probably come back to the city council for an additional appropriation for those departments that needed it. And then we'll know what the impact is on next year's budget. But I imagine I imagine it's, obviously it's, you know, could be a lot of money for some positions. Many of the positions that are in the, we're not able to attract, so we have many vacant positions, you know, because some of these salaries are just ridiculously low. And those positions are vacant, so if we were able to fill those positions at a reasonable salary, that'll impact next year's budget. But there is only about 35 or so positions here, so I don't see it being having a significant impact on next year's budget.
So 35 positions that are filled, or 35 positions that are in total, that are in front of us?
Yeah, I didn't count them all, but there's roughly, it's in your packet. The positions, and not all of them are filled, but these are the positions in the classification, the current classification plan, plus any new position that was created since 2005. So we included it in the plan. You know, but again, there's only about 35 non-bargaining employees is my best recollection, without counting them.
So any number that you think that it will be appropriate, assuming that 35 positions and most likely are going to probably going to be increased on salaries, like any range? That
Well, it'd be the recommendation of the department heads for, you know, I imagine some of these positions, that are filled. I have a few positions I have one position in particular that's unfilled because I can't fill it, because the maximum is a budget analyst, for example. I think the starting salary is $35,000. I mean, a person with a college degree is not going to start for $35,000. So that position's been vacant for quite a while. Once I get this, if the council approves this compensation plan, I'll ask the mayor to, at least the minimum in this salary, I might be able to attract somebody. And we'll get the position posted. This is a particular case where I have to come back down to the council because it's been vacant for more than 6 months. So we'll have a lot of those instances where department heads will have to come back to the council if the position has been vacant for, I believe it's 6 months or more. We got to come back down to the council and ask to fill a position. And obviously the reasons to fill a position are we couldn't fill it before because the salary is too low. So that's why we'll be requesting to fill that position. For many of the other positions that are already filled, and you know, we have quite a few of them that are already looking elsewhere for work because, you know, the pay is just inadequate.
Can you tell me the criteria as of how the call center actually went through and analyzed the salary increasement? Because I'm seeing here that 95% of the positions, well, not 95, sorry, a good amount of, I believe the first page, it's a good, I would say that it's safe to say that all of those positions are getting $45,000 about an increasement. So I'm wondering if they performs a series of interview and how that number come out, because it looked like an average number.
Well, it's in their report exactly how they did it, so I can paraphrase it to a certain degree, but they went through the current job descriptions. They interviewed many of the department heads, not every position in here, but many of the department heads, and you know, I think they did at least 20 to 25 actual position, reviewed the positions themselves and the job description and so on. Then they did a salary survey with 10 communities that are listed on page 5, and 10 communities that responded. They probably sent out market salary surveys to many others, but they indicate in their, on page 5, they indicate that 10 reporting municipalities provided sufficient data to analyze and benchmark against positions that may not have direct comparisons. One of the things about Lawrence, we're a little larger than some of the other communities, so not everybody has the same job titles, but in general, a DPW director in one community might be called Division of Public Services in another, but they were able to use that comparable data to come up with the suggested pay ranges.
Thank you so much, Councilor.
The next is Councilor Payano, followed by Vice President Reyes,
No questions.
and then Councilor, after that, Councilor Del Rosario. Council Vice President?
Okay, Mr. Arnaldo. It's only a clarification. I just want to make sure that this is going to be, I know that this is only going to be to approve, a conversation, but I have on page 2, City Council A and F Personal HAS, Police Department Confidential Secretaries. Is that gonna be cover our secretaries?
Is that in position F, recommended pay range F? Is that what you said? A confidential secretary / office manager, is that the one? Yeah, that would be, well, that's the city attorney's office, so let me see.
Page 2 of 2.
Page 2.
Yep.
The city council, and it also, the title is confidential secretary.
Okay, I'm just trying to locate it here. Oh, right, city council, that's the city council, that's the administration, division of administration and finance. The personnel department has a confidential secretary. HHS director has a confidential secretary, and the police department has a confidential secretary. So they'd all be in this range. Yep.
Thank you, thank you.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Thank you, Council President. Mr. Analo. When did the studies, when the actually compensation study started, when did they begin on trying to get these numbers?
We started with the Collins Center. First step we did was we received a grant to pay for this, state grant, this community compact grant. So the first thing that started this was I came down to the council probably last spring to get the grant approved, and then we engaged the Collins Center to begin this whole process, and then we've been working with department heads and personnel director, to come up with this report. The personnel director was on maternity leave during a good portion of this, so it caused a little bit of delay. I would have loved to have this down here sooner, but better late than never as well. I just wanted the report complete, accurate, so we can get it down to the council and get it approved so we can not lose any key employees.
So how long do they took? How long, I mean, from the beginning till now, how long did it took to?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how long, but, it took them, it took them a long, I don't know how many hours they spent on this project. We have a flat fee schedule, which was paid 50% based on when they get everything, and then 50% upon completion. So we haven't paid the final bill yet.
And I think what I'm trying to figure it out, it's when do we hire this consultant or this Collins Center to start this study? And let's assume that they just finish it, but when did we hire them?
I'm going to say it was sometime in the spring, because my personnel director was out on leave from maternity leave, and I know they were working, that's when they started.
2020, right? April 2021.
22, yep.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other members of the council who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye.
Present.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Present.
I hear it. Will the clerk please read the roll?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Present.
Yes.
Present.
Yes.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes, the motion carries. At this point, we're going to move over to the committee reports. I'm going to look for the Budget and Finance Chairman.
I would like to take a few items out of order from House.
Counselor, what are you looking to take out of order? Which item is that, Counselor?
Item 310, 317, 318, and 319.
310.
Table. He's taking it out of order and out of table.
Give those numbers again, please.
310, on the last page, page number 3. Item 31022, item 31722, item 31822, and item 31922.
There is a motion to take document, the first one is 31022 off the table matters. Is there a second? Seconded by Counselor Reyes. All in favor, discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. What was
It was to table.
So there's a committee report without a motion. You want to make a motion now,
I
Counselor?
would like to make a motion to accept this as our committee report.
Motion to accept this
Second.
committee report has been made and seconded by Council Vice President. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. It's committee report.
I would like to make a motion to declare this property, item 31022, as a surplus. It's 13 Baldwell.
Motion made by the chairman of the Housing Committee and seconded by Councilor in District C, Del Rosario. Discussion.
Yes, I would like to. Well, the reason why these haven't been done, Council President, is because our outside officer has been sending emails to all of the department heads to get their signatures of the need of that property. That haven't been done for a while, and I appreciate that the access officer, Francisco Sobrillo, start back again to do this list to ensure that all of the departments are aware of what we're doing with this property, and to make sure that the list is compiled appropriately. So that's the same situation with the other 4 property as well. So with that said, I would like to send the opportunity to Francisco Cirillo, the access officer, to talk on these matters.
For what purpose does the counselor from District E rise?
Thank you, Council President. As member of the Housing Committee, was an email sent to the whole committee about the process that was done on this? Because I don't recall receiving emails on this. Okay, thank you.
Mrs. Cirillo.
Thank you. Frank Cirillo, Asset Officer, City of Lawrence, 824 Riverside Drive, Methuen. The email goes out to the department heads. It's a real property survey to see if any of the department heads need or can use the property. One of the new things that's being done is I'm adding the chair of the Housing Committee. That way he's aware that the emails are going out.
I would say that the efforts done by the access officer has been great. I appreciate the effort, and a lot of the departments has responded. There is a few others that have not yet, and I would like to encourage those. I'm not going to mention those names, to reply to those emails once that Francisco Cirillo, the access officer, send those out, those notifications. He had to send like probably 4 notifications,
Yeah, about 4.
4 or 5, something like that. So for them to be able to say yes or no, and this is not quite what we're looking for. That delay the process at this level, and I hope that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, in order before we start having those discussions of how we're gonna sell the property, whether it's through a yard sale, direct disposition, or RFP, we have to have it starts a real property needs assessment through all the department heads, making sure the departments that there's not a property they need. I mean, we had one property, the department answered they needed a property, it was taken off, so it was never brought before the city council for any kind of sale on that property. So this is a way of us letting the department heads know that, and as Council President knows, is where we want to make sure that before we move forward on trying to sell a property that we have, that the city of Lawrence doesn't need it first.
Very good. Are there any other members of the council who wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, I'll call a question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Abstain.
Roll call vote, please.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Counselor Dela Cruz.
Yes.
Counselor Payano.
Abstain.
Counselor Rodriguez.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Infante.
Yes.
Vice President Reyes.
Yes.
President LaPlante.
Yes. The motion carries. There's a motion to take document 31722 off of table matters. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Vice President. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Rodriguez?
Would like to offer a motion to declare the property located in 262 East Street, Unit 12, as a surplus.
Motion made by the chairman, seconded by Council Del Rosario. Discussion?
Discussion.
Counselor, Mr. Chairman.
Send deal with this property. We send 4 notifications to all of the department heads. Some of them response. There is others that still haven't done that. Another thing that I would like to bring up to the table, Council President, is that this is a property that is going to be declared as surplus, which means that eventually the city will be selling this property. And with that said, on some occasions, we, as a council, put some input into that request for into the RFP process. At this point, I don't know if the council wishes to put anything on there, but I would personally know. I would like to know like when the RFP go out, and I would like to know if the cities would like to do an open house for people to take a look at the property once the RFP is out.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other councilors who wish to speak on this item? Councilor Dela Cruz?
Mr. Cirillo, I have a.
Mm-hmm.
What is the mean? And most people are just paying 1 penny.
So it's going to be posted in the newspaper twice. It's going to be put on the city website. And anybody that has shown interest, I'm going to be sending them, giving them a call to come in and let them know what the RFP's process is going to start, as well as sending them an email.
You don't use,
So this is
like giving those property to poor people in the community that are in need of housing, or you just give it to anybody who comes in?
not given to anybody. It's a sealed bid. So, and it would be the highest bidder when it's the RFP process. It's a sealed bid. There's a limited time when they are going to be able to apply for the bid, and they have to bring a sealed bid, and then the highest bid is going to win. At the end of the day, the mayor would have the final say on the approval.
But most time, people are paying $10, $5 for those properties.
Nobody's going to be paying $5 under my care.
That's the rumor in the community.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Yes.
Council President Octavian Spanner, Senior Advisor to the Mayor, Councilors, good evening. In response, Councilor De La Cruz, any property that is, I believe that's assessed over $3,000 need to go through procurement process, through a bidding process. We cannot dispose or gift or any property that is, at least city property, to any organization, any individual, just for the sake of it or for political reason. That's corruption. What we're planning to do is looking at all the city property once it goes through the surplus list. We have Mr. Frank Cirillo as well as Susan that works that works at the attorney's office, that reviews and does our due diligence to look at the property, look at the condition, if there is a structure or if it's a vacant lot. And once they become available, we have to dispose of the properties according to the law. So in no way, at least, the mayor hasn't given any instructions other than for us to have a list and to, and I think in previous administration as well, I've been personally involved. I've helped many families in which they have been granted these, the surplus properties by filling out a proposal and justifying the reason why these properties should be given to them, or sold, sorry, should be sold to them. To insinuate that whatever the public is saying, I think that if they think that's happening, let them report it. Let them just file a complaint, and we can find out which properties these are. Maybe they're talking about what happened in the past, but not under this administration.
Saying it's going to be in all the medias around the city?
Yes, we have a responsibility to publicize the properties.
Thank you.
Any other counselors who wish to speak on this item?
One more thing on that.
Or asset managers, go ahead.
Thank you. So any property that's under 5,000 square feet is unbuildable. So those will probably go through yard sale. Anything over $40,000, you cannot just give it to somebody for $5. That's automatically an RFP process. Now, whatever happened before I got here, I couldn't answer that question, but under my name, nobody's getting a property that's going to be $5.
That's it? All right. If there's no other comments or from my colleagues, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The next document under tabled matters is 31822. I believe there was a motion to take that off the table. Is there a second? Seconded by the Vice President. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Chairman?
Same situation, 31822, declaration of surplus. I would like to offer a motion to declare this property, 335 Alma Street, as a surplus.
Second. Motion made by the chairman, seconded by the counselor from District C. Discussion, Mr. Payano.
Yes, so just a question to Mr. Cirillo. What is the lot size and what is?
335-30.
Yeah,
Yep.
3335 Alma Street.
The lot size is 2,614.
Now, 2,614, now, you have the, your stronger knowledge on the rules. What's the size that you need to build?
Over 5,000 square feet.
5,000, okay. So what do we believe that we're going to be using this for?
This one's going to be as a yard sale to the abutters.
To the abutters. All right, thank you.
Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Through you, Council President, it is important to recognize that the vote that we're taking today on those 4 properties are just to declare a surplus, not to do the disposition. This is the second step to the process, if the voter or anybody around will like to participate. That's the disposition portion of it.
Are there any other tabled matters? If not, we'll go back to the top. You want to do 3 at disposition?
Yeah, 31922.
Mr. Chairman is looking to take off 31922 off the table matters. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr.
Council
Chairman.
President, this is a disposition for the real estate property which already went through their surplus declaration. And this property is located on 8 Bradford Place. With that said, Council President, I would like to offer a motion to do the disposition for the property located on 8 Bradford Place. Can you provide the name?
She's actually here. Your name and address?
Just the name.
Monica Mash.
To Monica Marsh, that's part of the motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded by Mr. Del Rosario. Typically in these motions, there are conditions
Few details on that.
Did you want to list those or at least mention the conditions, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, I would like to offer some information that Francisco Sorello have on his package. Unfortunately, I don't have it right now in front of me, but he will offer this. Please offer the size of the property as well as the conditions that we're going to be putting on those places. One of the conditions is for sure that it's not going to be a building raised on that location, and it's going to be using for green space and parking space.
Correct. And lot size is 2,524 square feet.
It's also important to recognize that the disposition for this real estate property through the yard sale program, which is $1 per square foot. So the ultimate price for this property will be on the $2,000 range.
$2,000, $524. I want to ask one more thing, is to waive the 30 days?
I offer that as a part of my motion.
So she's the abutter, and unfortunately for her, it's been a process because there's a lot of illegal dumping on the property, and she's getting fined for it. So she wants to close it off, use it as green space, grass for her tenants that live in right next to it. So, as you know, conditions are she's not going to be able to build on it. She could only use it for parking and green space, which is what she wants to do as a yard.
Great.
Hi, good evening. Through you, Council President. So, do you live in the property currently?
The property next, no, I rent it.
You rent it, so I want to make sure that as an absentee landlord, you have a high set of expectation from us, the city, for you to maintain that lot. We're selling this lot as part of the yard sale, which is nowhere to be found in the United States at this price, which means that the benefit that you're going to take for buying this property at this price and to providing parking lot to your tenants, that come with a set of responsibilities, which is the maintenance of it. And we have higher expectation that you maintain the property, pave the property, and do whatever you need to do to ensure that the property is up to date and up to the standards, okay?
Yes.
Even though you don't live in the property.
Yes.
Very good. And one last thing, because Mr. Piano first. Mr. Piano?
No, go ahead, sir.
I was just going to say, Mr. Sorello, if you just briefly just list those conditions, because we don't have the packets in front of us. Can you read the conditions as part of this should be part of the motion?
Comply with the purchase and sale agreement established by the city attorney office. That's number one. 2, the purchase and sale agreement with the city of Lawrence must be executed within 30 days of notice of the city of the city approval of the sale of the property. The city reserves the right to waive or extend deadline. The property purchased, though the yard sale program may only be used for parking, green space, or any accessory used to the primary residence of the residential property, construction of any kind except that allowed for accessory use is prohibited. And if the purchase of the property abuts the primary residence, the property must be merged into one lot. The purchaser must submit an approved, not required, form of submission plan merging the city-owned lot to the reviewed and approved by the land use planner within 30 days of the execution of the purchase and sale agreement. The city reserves the right to extend this deadline. The property must be clean and landscaped within 60 days of the purchase. If the purchaser is unable to comply with this requirement due to seasonal weather, they must submit a landscape plan to be reviewed and approved by the land use planner and are expected to comply with the plan during the next growing season. The city reserves the right to waive or extend the deadline. The purchaser must submit a stormwater management plan to be reviewed and approved by the land use planner within 30 days of the execution of the purchase and sales agreement. The city reserves the right to waive or extend the deadline. The purchaser must comply with all zoning and building permits, rules, and regulations.
Thank you. That is part of the motion, Mr. Chairman. Very good. If there's no, oh, Mr. Payano, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Council President. Through you, can I get your name one more time, ma'am?
Monica Mash.
Monica, and Ms. Mash, do you live in the city of Lawrence?
No, I live in Methuen.
You live in Methuen, okay. Do you have an idea right now as to what you're going to use the space for?
Just to, like a prayer, like grow grass, because like currently, how it is right now, there's trucks, there's dump, like there's stuff dumped there. So we're just gonna have those removed and then just fence it up so that they can't dump it anymore.
I am glad to hear that. I think that there are so many areas that could be a nice sort of green space to have that is being transferred over to for parking use, and I'm glad to hear that you are planning on using it as green space. In particular, in that area, there's not enough of it, or any of it. So I'm glad, thank you for that. My second question is, is there, as far as your relationship with Inspectional Services, are there anything outstanding that you have with that department?
No.
No. All right, thank you so much, ma'am.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Thank you. Good night.
At this point, I'm going to look to the Vice President. This is to deal with, under new business, before we lose people, under 36222, disclosure by municipal employee, Dionis Vesquita. Thank you. Looking to suspend Rule 12 and declare this an emergency for the purposes of safety or convenience of the public or their property. Motion has been made by Mr. Payano, thank you, and seconded by the Vice President. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Roll call vote because it's an emergency. Roll call, please.
Yes.
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 Yes, I'm so used to be Reyes, that now I can't.
Yes. Now looking for a motion to approve this document this evening.
So move.
Motion made by the Vice President, seconded by Mr. Payano. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. So this employee will be able to work the election on November the 8th. Going back up to the top of committee reports, Budget and Finance Committee. Mr. Chairman of the Budget and Finance Committee, starting off with document number 33822.
Thank you, Council President. The Budget and Finance Committee met and we voted to send this as a committee report. Item 338-20, actually, hold on one second. Just making sure. So we voted to send this to the full council as a committee report.
Motion to send this up as a committee report. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Reyes. Any discussion? It's a committee report. Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, Mr. Chairman.
I'd like to make a motion that we order a public hearing on item 338-22.
Motion made by the chairman. Who seconded over here? Mr. Rodriguez? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Chairman, document 34722.
the Budget and Finance Committee met and we voted to send item 347-22 with a favorable recommendation, and I present it in the form of a motion.
Motion made by the chairman, seconded by Counselor Levy. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Mr. Chairman, document 358.
The Budget and Finance Committee met on item 358-22, and we voted to send this to the, by unanimous vote, to send it to the full council as a committee report, and I make a motion to accept this as a committee report.
Motion to accept as a committee report's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Vice President. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it, Mr. Chairman.
Council President, on item 360-22, the Council President, I make a motion to order a public hearing on item 358-22.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by the Vice President. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Document number 360-22. Chairman?
Council President, the Budget and Finance Committee met and we voted unanimously to send item 360-22 with favorable recommendation to the full council, and I present that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion made and seconded by Counselor Levy. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Now to the Ordinance Committee, Madam Vice President.
Thank you, Councilor President. First item is the, document 12122 is the handicap parking at 80 Trenton Street. It has been sent out with the favorable recommendation to order a public hearing, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
Motion made by the Vice President, seconded by Counselor Levy. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Madam Chair?
24022 handicap parking at 64 Boswell Street. It also has been sent out with the favorable recommendation to order a public hearing, and I make that as a formal motion.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded by Counselor Levy. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Madam Chair?
25622 handicap parking, 39 East Haver Street. It has been sent out with the favorable recommendation to order a public hearing, and I make that as a formal motion.
Motion
Second.
made by the Vice President and seconded by Ms. Levy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Document 30822.
30822 is a change Bradford Street from one-way to two-way between Hampshire and Franklin Street. It has been sent out to order a public hearing pending that city engineer report, and I make that as a formal motion.
Motion's been made and seconded by Counselor Levy. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Document 321.
15-minute parking at International Wireless 107 Haver Street. It has been sent out with favorable recommendation to order a public hearing, and I make that as a formal motion.
Motion
Second.
made by Madam Chair, seconded by Counselor Levy. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Document 327.
Handicap parking at 333 Haber Street. It has been sent out with the favorable recommendation to order a public hearing, and I make that as a formal motion.
Motion made
Second.
by the chairman and seconded by Ms. Levy. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Document 328.
15-minute parking at 379 Hampshire Street. It has been saying that Sosa Multi-Service Corporation, it has been saying that with the favor recommendation to order a public hearing, and I make that as a formal motion.
Motion made by the chair, seconded by Counselor Levy. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Document number 333.
Handicap parking at 14 Leah Street. It has been said that with the favor recommendation to order a public hearing, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
Motion made by the chair, seconded by Counselor Levy. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Document 334.
Handicap parking at 83 Bradford Street. It has been said that with the favor recommendation to order a public hearing, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
Motion made by the Vice President, seconded by Counselor Levy. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The next document is old business. Document 32422. We are going to need a motion to suspend the rules for a motion to reconsider. The purpose of this is because the name of the entity that is receiving the loan monies has to be accurate, and the initial information that we had, it was flawed, so we need to correct that. So I need to get a motion to suspend Rule 20. Is there a motion to suspend Rule 20?
So move.
Motion made by Counselor Levy, seconded by the Vice President. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. At this point, I'm looking for a motion, a final motion with the proper name of the entity. Counselor Levy, are you prepared to give that motion?
Yeah, motion to approve? Oh, the.
The name would be Lawrence Development Group.
Okay, can you say your name
Name
and
is-
address, please?
John DeRosas, 3 Putnam Road, Bedford, Mass.
Okay, so, and the name for the company?
Lawrence Development Group.
So Lawrence Development Groups.
Mhm.
So the name that it was stated before was?
Paramount Development Group,
Okay, so now it's gonna be for the Lawrence?
which is the group that actually owns the property, is Lawrence Development Group. So we'd like to change it to that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So the motion here, and we're gonna have discussion over a second, the motion is to approve of is it the grant,
It's a loan.
It's a loan.
the loan?
Council President, I don't,
Is there a motion to reconsider,
So
Rule
move.
20?
Discussion.
Motion made by the Vice President, seconded by Counselor Levy.
discussion.
Yes?
Discussion, go ahead.
All right, thank you. I'm just trying to understand, so what was the previous group? Who were they?
Paramount Development Group.
Okay, sir, if you can come up because you might be able to give some information. So why was that group's name on, you know, on our documents?
That's the group that usually does the construction, but because we own the property, we thought it'd be best to have the loan made to the owners of the property. Keep it cleaner.
Okay, so do you guys own the other group as well? Or is that it's a different group? It's a separate group?
Yep.
Do we have any written documents? So we're about to loan $1 million. Do, you know, previously, you know, and I know that I always get in trouble for this because I always ask for written information. I always ask for contracts. You know, folks get upset with me when I ask for these things, because, you know, we want to move at a very quick pace. But it is a little upsetting that we are now changing certain things around. It might be not a big deal that I mean, it is a big deal because we're changing who it is that we're going to loan this to. And with no due offense, sir, I don't know who you are. You know, there was another individual that came here before, I forget his name. I thought that he was the head of this, he is, okay. So now we have somebody else coming in before us. The previous individual I had met several years ago, and I knew who we were, that this money was gonna be, essentially we were allowing this individual to borrow this money, and there were certain commitments that this individual made. So I'm wondering now, right, now that we've went through it, we took a vote without a contract, without any written document, I mean, I was part of it, I said yes to giving a loan without even seeing what the interest rate was gonna be on that loan. I'm wondering, do we have any, it's been like, you know, almost a month since that vote. Do we have any type of documents that we can look at that can show what it is that we're doing? I don't know if you have an answer for that, or...
I don't. Richard's been handling all this. He got called back to take care of something at home back in Florida, so he couldn't be here tonight.
Understood. But perhaps, Council President, through you, if we can invite Mr. Spanner to speak on this a little bit.
Sure, Mr. Spanner?
Sorry, excuse me. Council, we received the information concerning ownership of the property. That's one of the first thing that we requested. And it was an oversight because we turned over all the documents after the city council meeting with the approval. We double checked because we wanted to make sure, and we forwarded that information to the city attorney's office. The city attorney identified it was a mistake on the name. When he went back and looked at the ownership of the property, we identified that the company basically that was filed on the Paramount Development Group, correct, was not the owner of the property. So I called back Rich DeRosas that came before the city council, and he indicated that that was an oversight because the person that filled out the paper at the office filed the wrong name.
Mr. Spanner, I appreciate and I commend you for you, staff, city attorney's office, for doing due diligence. I think what I want to point out too is that we approved the loan of $1 million to an LLC or whatever, you know, the company was, that had no interest on the property. So if they defaulted on that loan, you know, we would have been left with nothing. So I will say that I would feel more comfortable with this if we actually, we work this as if this was any other item where, you know, you usually, like if we were about to borrow $1 million, there'd be, you know, essentially there'd be a document saying like, okay, this is gonna be your interest. This is, like, I don't know, like that type of information. I don't think we have that in front of us today, or do we? Or maybe you do have that.
No, and the answer is no, we don't have that, but we have been working with the city attorney as well as the several meetings that are taking place. We already started. With Northern Essex Community College, we have another meeting pending, a second one, because that's one of the reasons why we go through. We're not going too quickly on it, because we want to make sure that once we have all our ducks in a row, that it's, the document is watertight. So and believe me, your frustration has also been our frustration, because at this point, it's basically, now we have to go back. But we're doing we're working with the city attorney. He's looking at all the details, looking at the interest rate, looking at the timeline that we need to look at, as well as the partnership that is going to guarantee the oversight of this project from start to finish.
And thank you, Mr. Spanner, for that. I think, when it comes to this, there's a question of trust. And I think you've been dealing with the partners a whole lot more than me, so your trust level might be in a different area. But when you are coming up for a loan, I thought it was a given that, essentially that we were speaking to, because the individual we spoke to identified himself as the owner of the property. So I took it as a given that this company, that he's also the owner of, was also in charge of the property. That to me is just, it's hard for me to move from that. But secondly, I question whether, and I would love your thoughts on this. Should we be voting on, why are we voting on this now and not wait until you guys have gone through your process?
The reason why we have worked, and please mind you, staff is representing the city. We are going to do everything in making sure that this project runs smoothly and without any glitches. However, time was of essence, the same way that we presented before you, because this property needs to be stabilized. If there's an additional, God forbid, if there's a snowstorm, heavy snowstorm, this building is going to be in worse shape than it is. So that's the reason why, from the mayor's office, we've been working with the developers in order for this property not to be, it's going to cost more money if we have to, or if there's more damages.
Mr. Spanner, my next question is, let's say we do this loan. What happens if there's a default?
The property would be held into as an asset. That's collateral.
So there's nothing written down yet, so it sounds like that's a clause you're going to be...
We're going to add in the document, and we will make sure that no documents, or the mayor would not sign any document without all those details are set in place.
So what I'll say is,
so that the terms and conditions are favorable to the city.
I'm going to vote yes on the reconsider vote, because I would like to reconsider my vote. And not that I'm against the project, but I'm uncomfortable in voting for this project, voting for this $1 million loan without actually seeing a document in front of me explaining, detailing this loan, interest rate, what happens if there's a default. I understand that that there's a urgent need, but my feelings are we're talking about a lot of money, and that initial trust I had in the process went away. I think that the individual that came before us at the last meeting should have been here to explain what exactly occurred and why you know, he put the wrong, maybe it was an innocent mistake, but I think I would have felt more comfortable if that individual was there. No further questions, Council President. I give back my time.
Thank you much, Mr. Del Rosario.
Thank you, through you, Mr. President. I had an initial question when that was brought up to us, which I was under the perception that they owe us money due to the cleaning and that we've been doing in that building. So my question is, who owe us money for the cleaning? Paramount or Lawrence Development?
It'd be Lawrence Development Group.
Let me just mention that for the record. Lawrence Development Group.
Okay, do we have an amount that they owe us and follow up? And if they, let's put it, for example, if they owe us $100,000, why we don't just land in $900,000 instead of $1 million and charge what they owe us? Just that, and then I'll.
And the answer to that, if I may recall, and I don't know if the city clerk can look into the documents, Council President, the question was asked to Richard DeRosa as one of the principal of the company, and we said that he was going to pay these fines, and correct me if I'm wrong, before any document would be signed, before we enter into an agreement. But this question was asked by the City Council.
And one last question through you, Mr.
And just in case, I don't have the numbers with me right now as to what but we can provide you with that information.
And even though I was, and I might be still fooled with the project, this is a question that has been bothering me since we got the approval. Why do us have to lend them $1 million if Barry Feingold has $2 million waiting for them? Why doesn't Barry Feingold provide those $2 million, and then if they need $1 million from us, we'll provide them? I don't understand the process.
Well, John, my understanding in the meeting and conversations with Senator Feingold, his concern was ownership, and second of all, it is also a process for the funding to be released, the state funding. Because of, that we're entering winter, that is something that we're afraid of, that now we're going to have more of a dilapidated building. We have people going in and out regardless of it being secured. One thing I want to make be clear, and I am going to say this on behalf of the mayor. The mayor, we are not standing here as city employees defending this project. I want to make that clear. We want to make sure that this property is should be secured, and that, it could be rehabilitated, in making sure that it can become a nice asset for the city as a performing arts. But we were disappointed, in fact, to come back before you for this correction. But those are the things that sometimes happen.
Thank you, Council President.
Councilor Infante.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you, Mr. President, Advisor Spanner, how long, this is obviously new information for every city councilor sitting here tonight. How long have Lawrence Development Group have been owing us the money that they owe us?
To my knowledge, there has been previous fines. Prior to this administration, I'm not quite sure, but we have cited this property and cleaned this property on several occasions. And we had several meetings with the owner, and that's why the mayor wanted to make sure that all fines and all cleanup fees or costs are covered prior to entering into an agreement with this owner.
Thank you. Given that this is new information and that there has been discussions with the owner and that payment still hasn't been made, I also do not feel comfortable agreeing on this unless we see a contract or something in writing. I am all for a performing arts center, something that our youth has been advocating for years, and I do want to see that, but I will also feel comfortable seeing something in writing before we move forward.
Thank you. Are there any other counselors who wish to speak on this item? Right now, the matter before us is a motion to reconsider. If that passes, the next motion will be a motion I presume, will be a motion to adopt. Now, because it's an appropriation transfer, there's a bit more, there's 6 votes that are required for that. So I just want to make sure all the counselors are aware as we go forward how this is going to proceed. So, any other comments? If not, this is a motion to reconsider the rule. So, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no.
Mr. President.
Yes. The motion to reconsider passes. Now looking for a
Council
motion.
President.
Councilor Rodriguez.
So, the motion, as you stated, it could be motion to adopt.
It could be.
And that means that we are voting yes or no on the loan. But according to what I hear from a couple of councilors, it could be another motion that allow the council to see those documents, perhaps a motion to table, so we can keep it at this level.
Before we get there, but before, we need a motion to start off with. It could be a motion for almost anything, and then after we second the motion, then you can make a motion to table. So I just need an underlying motion, and then if the council so chooses, I will entertain a motion to table. Is there any kind of motion?
Motion to discuss, motion to, I don't want to make a motion to adopt. I want to make another motion.
So, Council President, through you, I would suggest that the proponent, that Council Levy, makes a motion to adopt if this is something that she wishes to do.
Councilor Levy, do you wish to make a motion to adopt, as I'm presuming?
Just, yeah, to adopt the names.
For discussion
of-
purposes, okay.
Second.
So this is a motion to change the naming of who's going to receive it. The new group
The
is the
name who's
Lawrence.
gonna receive, that's $1 million for the projects that's the Sun Performance Center,
To the Lawrence Redevelopment Group.
to the Lawrence Development.
That's right.
Yes.
There's a motion that's been properly made. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by the Vice President. At this point, discussion, we could have a discussion. If there's a motion to table, there is no motion to discuss. If we wanted to discuss it, it is now. Is there anybody who wishes to discuss this matter? Because
Yes.
I do sense a motion to table coming
Yes,
on.
I will
Councilor
address a few
Rodriguez.
questions. Basically, a lot of the councilors are in the agreement that we should have the document in front of us to be able to make a determination. With that said, when and how fast you can get that document here, and what is the stage, what is the stage of that conversations and communications with the different stakeholders?
Well, we already started conversation, but it's not gonna be, let's say, like 30 days. We have to sit down and prepare this document, and it may take a month and a half to be ready. What we're trying to do is to make sure that within, let's say, the end of November, the first week of December, that work can begin. But that's something that the city is not involved. We're concerned about making sure that this document is watertight, that we have a good contract, and that we can have also make sure that we can hold the owners accountable, just in case, like the question of Councilor Payano, if there's any default.
Council President, I also feel somehow, I'll feel more comfortable if we hire somebody that knows about loans to be able to see these documents, perhaps an underwriter that work as a consultant to advise the administration and this council as of how this could be prepaid. We are not a financial institution that borrow money on a daily basis. If I remember any vote that is related to like this, my 7 years on the council, I don't recall any vote like we have taken on, like in this matter. So I would like to make a motion, Council President, through you, to hire an underwriter that advise the council and the administrations as of how we should proceed with the loan.
If it's okay with the, first of all, there needs to be an amendment to this because there's already an underlying motion, but would you allow the member to, Mr. Spanner?
Councilor, can I just mention that, and we thought the same way. The groups that we're working is to be added to have oversight over this project is a community development financial institution, that's MCCI, Mill City Community Development, Community Investment, which is a underwriter. So we wanted them to participate, so we have Northern Essex Community College, the Lawrence Partnership, as well as MCCI, which is an underwriting group. So we are considering. If it's in regards to the cost, if you decide to vote to have a consultant to work, it could be MCCI as well, because they're right here in the city and they do underwriting for both, for several organizations as well as Lawrence Partnership that's within the group that's going to have oversight. If there's any additional costs associated with this project, I believe that it should be incurred by the owners, not by the city.
Well, to be honest with you, what I'm looking with this motion is not necessarily a stakeholder to the project or a underwriter that actually look for loans. I actually would like the city to hire an underwriter that actually give out loans to be protected. So it's our interest that it's going to be on the lines. It's $1 million that we don't have, that are going to be in the line in case something happens. So that person going to be working directly for the city to protect our interest in terms of borrowing money. We don't borrow money at all. And if we get an underwriter that is looking for grants, looking for loans, it's a completely different perspective that we're going to acquire with that organization. So basically, that's how I visioning the situation. We are in our role right here is like a bank. It's a financial organization that is giving our loan. How are we going to be protected? We don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen that before. I'm not an expert on banking. I don't want to do that either. But I want to make sure that the city is protected, and we hire an underwriter to make sure that anything that is on that document protect the interest, the best is for the best interest of the city from the banking point of view. We all want the best for the city, but I'm an engineer, you're an advisor, and we all have different perspective. But a banker will tell you exactly how that grant should be write down in terms of, the law, in terms of many other situations that we might not see today and not probably seeing in a year from now, 2 years from now, and hopefully that we never see it, but we need to be protected.
If the council so wish, what we can do is from the mayor's office, the concern is who's going to incur the cost. We can include that within the agreement and let the owners incur those costs, even though the city is, we can stipulate it in the contract.
That's not an issue. I just want to make sure that we, as a council, do what we need to do to make sure that that portion on the contract is being taken care of. Whoever going to pay for it, you guys are dealing with that. And I offer that as a form of a motion for the council.
Make the motion concise.
The motion is to ensure that the city hire an underwriter to protect to help the city write this loan and according to the law to protect the best interest of the city.
So there's a motion to request the mayor's office to hire an underwriter to protect the city's interests. Is that the motion?
Yes.
There's the motion. Is there a second to that motion?
seconded by Counselor Reyes. Discussion on the motion? Then we're going to go back to the underlying motion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. I see Counselor Piano, then I saw Counselor Vice President. Vice President first, or Vice President?
Thank you, thank you. Well, first time ever.
First time.
Mr. Spanner. That doesn't happen that often, but, you know, we have to take this opportunity when he passes. Yes. So it's a question. I know that you've been hearing all the concern, which is my concern too, but in the timeline, I know that you've been saying to secure the building, to make sure that nothing happens. How this is going to affect if we table the item until you have everything in writing and all the documentation, just, you know, for the concern? So do you think that's going to affect, or you're not going to be able to move or proceed with what you were planning on doing?
Well, the biggest risk that we see is that, you know, this place would not be stabilized. And whatever $1 million or $2 million, anything can happen, even lives could be lost. Okay, we already have a shooting at the place, and this is just looking at and it's at the pleasure of the city council. But our concern is that this project has been going on for years. Okay, the property is in a bad state. We have homeless people living in the property. I mean, not living in the property anymore, but we don't know what happens. Okay, a wall can be bricks are falling on both sides of the property. We constantly have to call the police department to address this issue. We cite the owners because we, you know, they are ultimately responsible for cleaning up the place. Whether it's their fault or not, they assume the responsibility. And so that's the biggest risk, that this place will be further deteriorated, and then the cost will be more expensive. By stabilizing the property, we can minimize, you know, additional, you know, cost.
So by adopting this item tonight, you're going to be able to stabilize the building and do whatever you have to do to secure the building.
Well, let me correct that. The owners. The owners would be, yes, I have to make clear, because we don't want to make, we want to make sure that we're working together with the owner for a project that benefits the city. They are the ones that are responsible for it. Responsible in the sense that they need to make sure that this place is stabilized. And the answer is yes.
My colleagues, and yes, it's well taken, but I don't want to delay a process just for, you know, having a documentation that I'm sure that you're going to be putting everything into it, just to make sure that everything, that we are going to be covered. Thank you, Council President.
Mr. Piano?
Thank you, Council President, Mr. Spanner. Just a couple questions for you. When, let's say this was approved today, right? When do you believe that your discussions with the Paramount Development Group?
Not Paramount, Lawrence Development Group.
Okay. All right, so with the Lawrence Development Group, when will discussions be finalized and you will have a written, you know, like essentially, when do you expect that you'll have everything finalized to transfer over the monies to this new LLC, I'm imagining?
We hope that we can have an agreement, because we're bringing the parties together to have a document ready within 1 month when the council approved. So that's still the amount of time, 30 days. And from now, so we're November 1st, it would be the first week, considering Thanksgiving, the holidays, and the weekends. It's going to be the first week of December. That's usually in construction. You know, you can continue construction inside a building, but there's no, excavation that is going to prevent this project from being, for the building to be, or structure to be stabilized. So I think that within a month, we should have a document written. The reason why I'm giving the month is because we are also relying on Northern Essex, the other parties, let's say MCCI, all of them have agreed verbally, but we're not sure if they're going to say yes to this. So we need to make sure that that's the case.
So it sounds like this is not going to happen tomorrow.
No.
You have 3 to 4 weeks. So I think that essentially what I'm hearing is that there's time. And there's time to figure all these things out. And what I would suggest, since you need, how many, Council President, how many votes do you need? So there's a requirement of 6 votes. I'm not hearing anybody that's against the idea. Initially, I was one of the folks that was, when this first project came about 3 years ago, 2 years ago, very, very supportive. So I haven't heard anyone saying that they're not supportive of the project. So I think that gives plenty of time for the administration to make sure that all our I's are dotted, our T's are crossed, and then come before the council with this document put together, so that way we are able to approve. I think doing anything outside of that is putting the cart before the horse. Essentially, we'd be approving something that we don't know yet what it is that we're approving, outside of the $1 million piece. I would love to hear, when you come back to us, what the interest rate is going to be on that loan. I'd love to hear what occurs, afterwards, if there's a default on the loan. I think it's important that as you're looking at this, that it's not just that there'll be a lien on the property. That property, like, what else would it be used for, right? So it could be, I don't want to be in a situation where, there's a lien on the property for the next 10, 15, 20 years. Because this is not just any property. It's not like it's a mill building that we can find different uses for. So I hope that's one of the things that you guys take into account, that you're also looking at the history of this Lawrence Development Group. It could be that you already have. For us, it's completely new. So I think it'd be important to give us a little bit of information as to who this new group is, and what their, essentially, I hope you guys are looking at like their financial standings as well. And that there's some assurances, some timely assurances from Senator Feingold as to when that money will be coming, and that it is coming, and when it would be coming. Because from the last discussions, when we asked what happens if that money doesn't come through, I think what we heard is that it'll be paid through tax credits. It may be that you could pay things like that. I just don't see how you could pay a city through tax credits. So that goes a little bit beyond me, but if there are folks from the administration that have looked at it and have said, yes, the city of Lawrence can actually be paid through tax credits, then at least I can, I think that we could more safely vote on it.
We will, some of the questions, and next time, if you, depending on how your vote goes, that the city attorney will be present to give all the details. We will give you the assurances that if this contract and any terms of conditions are not satisfied, we will not recommend for this project to move forward. We have a responsibility, a fiduciary responsibility before the city, and we will make sure with the city attorney, Mr. Hooton, that we have all this information provided to you.
Councilor Dela Cruz.
Isn't it just to change the name of the company?
Yes. That's the request because of the misinformation that has been provided.
After the name, you will continue to follow up the legal procedure that needed to be done.
Correct.
To say that Lawrence Development Group is the person who is going to take over this project.
Correct.
Thank you. And I just, Lawrence Development Group, is that currently been with the Secretary of State's office? I'm presuming it's a relatively new group. Do you know that it's met the, was it reporting requirements of the Secretary of State's office? Do we know that?
I did give the attorney, the city attorney, the information, and that's what I've been informed, that not Paramount Development Group. But for the record, I would like the owners to answer that question as well. Yeah, please stand.
Sure. So the Lawrence Development Group, I just.
Been the original owner of that for the last 12 years.
So I just want to make sure it's registered with the Secretary. This group, is it an incorporation? It's an LLC? It's an LLP?
LLC.
LLC. I just want to know that that LLC has been registered with the Secretary of State's office. Has that?
Yeah, it has been for 12 years.
And you're current with the I'm sorry?
Yeah, it has been for 12 years.
And you're current with the Secretary of State's office?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
If you could just verify, when you, I presume we're going to, I'm going to guess we're going to delay this a little bit. If that happens, we can bring them more information. That would be helpful too.
Yes.
Is there a hand up? Councilor Infante?
Thank you, Council President. Just for clarification, so Lawrence Development Group is a company based in Massachusetts, or are you guys based in another state? Okay, thank you.
All right. Oh, Councilor Levy?
Yes, I just want to remind the councilors that what we're doing right now is just to vote for the change of the name. So the loan is already approved. The loan was approved at the last, I don't know, remember how many meetings before that was approved. So what we're doing right now is to change the name for the developments from the Paramount Development to Lawrence Development Group, LLC. So trying to do the best, that's in the correct names to be used for this project. So this is what we are doing right now, is to change the name, but the loan was approved before.
So just for clarification purposes, I'm going to recognize Councilor Del Rosario and then Councilor Selena Reyes, just so we're all clear. Just a little while ago, we made a motion to reconsider our vote, which means that this body made a determination that we did vote, and now because we need to roll it back so that we could put the right name in it. So right back, it's as if we're in the very beginning. We're not the very beginning, but we were where we were a month ago, whenever it was. That's where we are. So your motion, Councilor, is a motion to approve the loan to this organization for $1 million to the Lawrence Development Group. So that's essentially a brand new motion that, if it's adopted this evening, goes, and if it's not, then we all know what happens. Councilor Del Rosario and then Councilor.
That's it. I mean, you just said what I was going to say. I mean, that motion was just to reconsider the vote, and it's a brand new proposal loan to the Lawrence construction.
Are we all?
I want to mention something similar, but I want to add it. When we have new company, at least you need to be from us prepared with the document, because we're talking about $1 million. It's not something simple. We need to have the documentation and the clarification for this process, because it's new company, but we don't know the new company.
Mr. Spanner?
It's a long day. It's a very long day. The applicant is not the mayor's office. The applicant is Lawrence Development Group. We are working with the city attorney. We're not the ones that submitted this application to you. Sorry? I mean, in terms of the error and correcting the error. But last time, the city council approved this agenda item pending the proper documentations and the contract being formed by the city attorney. That's how it was approved. Am I correct?
The city council did approve of it with erroneous, and now we're trying to correct and to correct that, make it accurate.
Right.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Thank you, Council President. I have a couple, one request that I would like to, for this mayor's office to bring it to the city attorney's office. I don't want to make another motion to send correspondence to the city attorney if you're here. So essentially, I would like to know the process on writing as of how a can provide a loan to an organization. If that process exists, I would like to get to know it, read it, and how any city could do that. I haven't done this before. This is brand new to me. And now that I have the opportunity to recap on this, I would like to get that information, if possible.
Will do. I'll convey the message to the city attorney's office.
The motion right now is a motion to approve. That's the motion before us.
So, councilors, there isn't any other motions? Because, I mean, I guess that nobody's,
I'm letting you know, that's what the motion is at this point.
the motion goes that way. I don't know.
Motion to
The motion currently before us is a motion to approve the transfer of the loan to the Lawrence Development Group for $1 million.
I'm gonna help out the art center. I'm gonna do a favor to the art center. On behalf of the art center, I would like to table this matter.
There's a motion. to
Otherwise, it's
table.
gonna die.
Is there a motion to second the table? Here.
Second.
There we go. Motion is seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. There's no motion, there's no discussion on a motion to table. All in favor say aye.
No.
Aye.
No.
Roll call, it's clear, it's a roll call vote. Clerk?
Yes.
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 No.
No.
Yes, we are tabling this matter. Thank you. That is it for the old business. There is one table matter that we need to go into executive session, and again, I don't expect this to be long. Document 35022. Is there anything else under table matters? If not,
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead,
Okay,
Council Vice
well,
President.
we,
So moved.
So I'm looking to go into executive session for document 35022 for the sake of discussions, contract negotiations with the Charles Body. Motion has been made by Councilor Payano. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. All in favor say aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. We are, and we're going to include the clerk as part of our discussion. We're now going to go into executive session.
Counselors, I'm looking for a motion to come out of executive session again. Motion made by
Second.
Counselor Piano, seconded by Counselor Levy. Discussion here. And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Counselors, I guess what I'm looking for first. So we're going to look to suspend rule number 20. So we're looking to
So
suspend rule
moved.
20. Motion's been made by Counselor Piano, seconded by Counselor Del Rosario. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Now we're going to actually make a motion to reconsider Rule 20. Is there a motion? Motion made
Second.
and second by Vice President, seconded by Counselor Dela Cruz. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Now I need a motion. I'm going to presume here that the motion will be something to the effect of withdrawing the previous vote to confirm Attorney Charles Body as a city attorney. Withdraw the positive confirmation vote for Charles Body. So I need a motion to that effect, if that's the motion.
So moved.
Motion made by the council, by Councilor Pound, seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Discussion on this motion. Seeing none, should we do a roll? We'll do a roll call. There's a request for a roll call vote. Clerk, will please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes, the motion to withdraw the confirmation of Charles Body is adopted, for lack of a better word. At this point,
One more table item.
we're not there yet. We're looking for a motion at this point. Let me try to recap the thing. We're looking to instruct it's already out there as a job posting, but to instruct the personnel director to continue to repost and keep it open, to repost, also to have and I want to get to the hiring in a second, hiring practice, but also to have a salary range on there between $137,000 to $160,000 in the job posting range. So we'll start with that, and then we'll get to the second motion to the mayor's office for the hiring director.
With that,
Yeah.
Mr. President, I think that there was another language that came with it. I don't remember what that is. Something about negotiation.
With experience and
Experience and negotiation, I don't remember.
Well, I think if I'm capturing what we did, we were good about the entry level first year, knowing full well there may be other opportunities for KPI on year 2 or 3 of a contract potentially, but the first year was going to be between that range. Am I clear? Am I clear on that? Yeah. Between that range. Well, here we are. That's my understanding.
So I'm just trying to hear. So, Council President, what you're saying, I don't think your understanding was what we were speaking about, but it sounds like you're bringing up the idea that during the first year, it's 137 to 160, but that using the KPIs, we could change so maybe it's not a 3% bump, maybe it's a 10% bump the second, potential 10% bump the second year. That's what you're essentially saying.
The council would need to make that determination.
That was your idea. That's the idea.
Correct. It would be an agreement.
Okay.
I think that we should, Mr. President, I think that we should send, once we send that over for publication, we should relook at the motion and to include the salary range, including somehow some level of negotiation with. So essentially, once we send that out for reposting that position, I think that we should include the salary range, And we also should include somehow a way of negotiation strategies.
So, through you, Council President, so maybe the language is salary is negotiable, range 137 to 160.
All right, there you go. I think there's an agreement there.
President, yeah. But we say that the salary negotiable after the first year, no? That is what
I think we're being silent on that. It sounds like we're being silent on that. So 137 to 160, negotiable. There we go. Okay, I think we're. Motion's been made. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Selena Reyes. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The second part was a request for the administration to bring what we know as a headhunter or a hiring person, outside recruiter, to assist in that job search. And providing extra funds for publicizing this job. I don't know what that number is, but asking for that, and I'm not sure what the rate is. It's hard for us to decide. We don't know what the rate is.
Based on the recommendation from the person.
Outside recruiter, okay. So there's the motion, right? The motion is to send correspondence or to the mayor to hire an outside recruiter and to provide extra funding to adequately post the jobs posting. I'm on the same page.
Second the motion.
Motion's been made by Councilor Rodriguez. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilor Payano. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. I'm looking I'm going to send this document back down to the Personnel Committee so that we're going to repost. You're going to get some applicants, right? So it makes sense to send it back down, right? All right, so the document number.
I'm sorry, Council President, you're going to be sending it back down. What action is personnel going to have?
Well,
Right now it's 350. This is the
We're
hiring.
already voting on it right now.
Pardon me?
We've already made the vote right now, so it would go to personnel to bring back up. So you're gonna
Repost.
Right.
Who knows how many applicants you're going to get? We're not going to take it all. You're going to winnow it down, stop whoever. Right?
So are you saying that the personnel committee next week is gonna take any type of action next week?
It's unlikely because they're going to have the recruiter and everything set up.
I understand. So what you're saying is you're sending it, you wanna send it to the personnel committee so that we're not proposing, so that when we have candidates. Yes, we start. Okay, understood.
This document is a city attorney contract with John Water, so you're not sending this down. We do have a document for 150-22, which is the hiring of a city attorney.
We should do.
You know what? Motion to approve the 350 for the.
I'm thinking that's the direction that we go, make a motion to reconsider the other one that was the bigger version, which is the posting one. Does that make sense? So we're still gonna send the information out. Let's not retabulate that. Everybody on the same page. There were two, just so we're clear. The first one was on hiring a city attorney, and then we came with a couple of names at the end. The second one that we're now just dealing with, deals with the contract. So with the recommendation, which I agree with, I think, is to withdraw this one, and then go back to the original one, which is the hiring.
Do we have the other one?
We have, what's the number? Well, the problem with the new one is that there's some complexity with the, I keep on recreation personnel, because now you got a new document, you may have to redo some stuff. So I think that it's a little bit easier from that perspective, we just use the same old document numbers.
It's not, it's been filed because we moved on to the new document.
Sure.
The 350.
As expeditiously as possible in the next meeting.
How's that sound? So, okay. Everybody's tired. So, where are we right now? So we got the motions, we're done with the motions, and there was a motion to withdraw, was that what I heard? This document, the contract one? Is there a second for that motion? Motion may make Counselor Rodriguez, seconded, I think, by Counselor Del Rosario. Discussion on withdrawing the contract negotiations item with Charles Body. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. This document is complete, and I will resubmit for the next committee meeting, next full council meeting, a new document. All right, painful what we got there. Counselor Vice President, you wanted something.
No, now I am going to take my time. Can I get a motion? Hey. Motion to take 33122 out of table item.
Motion's been made, it's been properly seconded. Motion's been made and properly seconded. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. This is,
331 is, so the motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor? I just want to make sure. Okay. So 33122 is adopt a park Roberto Clemente Boulevard, small square next to O'Neill Park on Lawrence Street. The last meeting, I tabled it because a conversation was supposed to happen with the O'Neill family, which it did, it happened. We met with them last week. They are in favor. Is nothing in the field. Nothing is going to change. It's like I say, a small square, so you can be part of it. That's not gonna happen tomorrow, eventually, just to let you know. But the reason that was tabled was because we want to make sure they were on board. So motion to approve.
motion's already been made to approve. So now there's a roll call. Any further discussion on this matter? Discussion? Go ahead, Councilor Del Rosario.
It's just a simple question. Does people know about adopting and renaming? Because when you adopt, then you're taking care of that part completely.
This is nothing similar. It's gonna be a square, nothing is gonna be in the field, it's gonna be something outside. No one is gonna be responsible, everybody have to do what we have to do as a citizen.
Occasions are not an adoption, but that's fine.
Well, it's gonna be,
When I adopt a kid, I gotta take care of it. When I adopt a park, I gotta clean it.
They
When I
are gonna
adopt a
adopt it,
square,
but you know,
when you adopt a square, you gotta take care of it. When you adopt, I mean, just up for point of clarification, we in favor of it, but we need to start changing adopting and let people know that when you adopt, you're taking care of it, not the city going forward.
so I'm gonna stay with adopt, and they are gonna maintain it. I'm not gonna change, because they are going to do it. It's a dedication, it's a dedication.
I'm all set.
It's gonna be a dedication, point of clarification.
So I think that the Vice President, does the Vice President wish to amend this item to be the dedication, dedicating Roberto Clemente Boulevard?
That's gonna be dedication.
Okay, Councilor Rodriguez?
Motion.
Councilor Rodriguez, you wish to have the floor? No, okay. So just so we're clear on all this, so it's adopt, there's also a naming, and the individuals are also gonna be in charge of cleaning. So it's kind of a hybrid, which is they're dedicating it. So forget about the adopt the park, you're dedicating it. That's the motion. Are we all clear in the motion? If we're all clear, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
No. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
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 No. Motion carries. All right, what else do we have? Anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Nope, we have to go through new business. We dealt with 362 already, 363, 15-minute parking at 253 Ferry Street, Ordinance Committee, 364, 22, 20-minute parking at 579 Common Street, Ordinance, 365, 22, review of JRM and Republic contract. As a reminder, everybody, we have a meeting later tomorrow at 7 o'clock, an emergency meeting. Please, this is really important to deal with this. That's going to go because all of the other one has previously gone to committee on the whole. That's going to go to committee on the whole. Document 36622, no parking, 52 Walnut Street, corner of Myrtle Street, by Councilor Selena Reyes. That is going to Ordinance Committee. 367 is withdrawn already. 368 Hispanic Week Christmas lights at O'Connell Park is going to the Ordinance Committee. 369 removal deletion of handicap parking, Ordinance Committee. 37022 handicap parking, 56 Avon Street, Ordinance Committee. 37122 handicap parking, 135 Hancock Street, Ordinance Committee. 37222 handicap parking, 121 Cross Street, Ordinance Committee. 37322 confirmation of Assistant City Clerk Jennifer Duran is going to the Personnel Committee. Document 37422 Human Rights Commission Ordinance is going to the Ordinance Committee. 37522 expenditure funds, $515,000 for the Hancock-Doyle Street intersection redevelopment is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. 37622 acceptance of various easements from Merrimack Street to Merrimack River as part of the Riverwalk project is going to Housing. 37722 amendment of section of the Lawrence zoning ordinance for District I-4 Planned Industrial Development District is going to Ordinance Committee. 37822 interfaith metal Lawrence Youth Violence Prevention, $205,705, Budget and Finance Committee. 37922 naming of park at One Island Street in honor of Mr. Nunzio DeMarca. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. 38122 disclosure of municipal employee Captain Frank Martin is going to the Ordinance Committee. 38222 handicap parking is going to Ordinance Committee. 38322 request for new ordinance regarding salary of City Council. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. 38422 request to amend Ordinance 212010 salary of the mayor. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. And 38522 handicap parking at 23 North Boylston Street. That is going to the Ordinance Committee. Ordinance Committee, when are you meeting?
Monday works. Councilor Reyes, work for you? Councilor Levy, Monday, ordinance? Councilor De La Cruz? Monday, no? Me, yes, 3, okay, Monday.
Go, Budget Finance? Personnel? Personnel?
We're moving on to Housing Committee. Housing? Yeah. Seven? Housing, 6:30 on Wednesday. Public safety, am I missing anything?
We can do 7:30.
On Wednesday? Public safety, 7:30 on Wednesday. So clerk, would you just, so where everybody's on the same page, can you just read through what you got?
For the subcommittees, we're showing Monday, the 7th at 7 PM is ordinance, and Monday, the 7th at 6 PM is personnel. We're showing Wednesday at 6:30, which is the 9th, housing, and then Wednesday at 7:30, public safety, and then Thursday, budget and finance, which is the 10th at 7 PM.
Council President, through you.
Yes, sir.
Just a suggestion for the Chair of Housing and Public Safety. It looks like you only have one item for housing. I would suggest that you might make it 7:30, maybe you make Public Safety 7. Just so in case you finish within that 30 minutes, you're not waiting another 30 minutes for your meeting. It's only one item you have for housing.
Okay, enough of the, all right, counselors, it's getting late. We're gonna be back here in a few hours. I think that's it. I think we got everybody's, all the agendas. At this point, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn. Motion by Counselor Rodriguez, seconded by Counselor Piano. All in favor, say aye. The ayes have it. See you in a few hours.